Hi everyone, Steve here from RSM and welcome to the latest episode of our Coffee Conversation series. Today I'm very excited. I'm joined by an old friend of mine and former colleague from a past life before I joined RSM, John Bland. John, really good to see you. I'm very, very excited that you'll be joining us very shortly.
Thanks, Steve.
A little bit of background. I'll let John tell his own story very soon. John and I worked together for a number of years in another firm. And John is an expert in the realm of the dark art, as I might call it, of transfer pricing. And to have John in the team will be a wonderful addition for us. So John, welcome. We're really looking forward to you starting in a few weeks' time. But as I said, this is it's a casual conversation, completely unscripted, and it's just a chat over a coffee. So, I have to start by asking you, what is your, and I've forgotten actually after all these years, to be perfectly honest. So what's your coffee of choice, or perhaps the tea? I'm not sure.
Coffee of choice is a flat white, but a tea of choice would be an Assam. So
excellent.
I do jump between one or the other, but
very good.
Flat white
so
is the coffee.
The flat white,
yes,
and you haven't gone to the oat or the almond. Or
occasionally the oat. Yes,
occasionally the oat.
You I think in fact led me to the oat.
I think I did lead you to the oat because in fact I've got in front of me the oat latte.
Nice.
From our friends downstairs at the Hideout, they do excellent coffee. So look, thanks again for joining me for this brief chat, John. And really, it's an opportunity really to understand a little bit about you, and we want to share that with obviously the people that like joining us for these conversations. But maybe sort of kick us off, just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your own story.
Sure. So you and I have known each other for over 20 years, Steve, and we worked together, as you said, in an earlier life for both of us. So my background is I've been in tax one way or another for almost 40 years now. I know I don't look anything like I could be old enough for that, but
no, not at all.
Yes, no, I am.
Not at all.
I've specialised in transfer pricing since the mid-90s, and I've been doing that ever since. And so my background is I grew up here in Brisbane, live in Queensland, have a family, 5 kids all grown up now, and this is my next step in my story, I guess, joining you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you left Deloitte, I think, probably around about 3.5 years ago, I think it would have been. And obviously you've been doing other things since then. So what sort of things have you been doing over that period of time?
So I left Deloitte, that's right, at the end of 2020. I joined the ATO. I'd started my career in the ATO back in the 80s here in Brisbane, and I rejoined the ATO for the last 3.5 years. When I was in the ATO, I worked on a lot of the transfer pricing matters, various audit cases, APAs, and MAP cases, and so I was again specialising in the transfer pricing field. So it's more of the same effectively in that latest iteration of my career.
So moving back into the world of professional services again after that kind of short hiatus. Again, it's kind of going back to the world that you knew, although obviously, as you say, you started your career, at the tax office. So it's been an interesting journey, I guess. But what sort of things led you to coming back into the profession again?
So look, I'm keen to obviously work with you and your team, Steve, as a smaller firm here in Brisbane, to assist you with some capabilities and some developing, hopefully some strong client relationships, and so working on some interesting work, and also really important to me, helping some of the people in your team, some of the young people in particular, to develop their careers, learn new things, do new stuff, and hopefully give them a different career thinking going forward. So really trying to get back into that whole mix of different things that comes with professional services.
Yeah, no, and we're really looking forward to that, because I know that'll be a wonderful journey for all of us. So the landscape, I guess, over the last couple of years, no one really could have predicted, I don't think, if we wound the clock back, say, 2 years or more, that, the professional services landscape in Australia would look like it is at the moment, where you had what was the dominant player, for so many years in PwC, and, which is still a great firm, as are the other big four firms, but that landscape seems to be shifting. So do you see, you in that kind of advisory, accounting and tax space, the future for the middle market firms or the mid-tier firms, is it a sort of a different place than maybe it would have been just a few short years ago?
Look, I think possibly, having been out of the professional services sector for a few years, I'm not probably as up to date on that stuff as I could be. But I think certainly my experience in professional services is if you focus on your clients really strongly and really deliver good value and good work for them, and focus on your people at the same time to make them energised and wanting to be great at client service, I think with a firm like RSM, you're going to be able to actually do very well, just focusing on those things: client delivery and people development.
Yeah. And I mean, as an office, as you know, our firm RSM's been around for 102 years. We celebrated our centenary just a couple of short years ago, and the last 2 years has just flown by. Brisbane office, though, we're still relatively young. We're 11 years young in the Brisbane market as RSM, but we've experienced extraordinary growth over that period of time. And from my perspective, I think getting our international tax and transfer pricing business, of course we do have that at a national level, but growing that footprint in Brisbane is an incredible opportunity for us. So what do you kind of see that opportunity in terms of where the transfer pricing space sits relative, and I appreciate you've been out of that market for 3.5 years, but relative to say the other mid-tier firms, because to me there doesn't seem to be there's a lot of expertise at the big firm level, at the big four firm level, and so that's kind of where I'd see. Do you see that as an opportunity in itself?
Absolutely, and there are other sort of what they call the mid-sized firms in the market, obviously, who do have capability, but I think that we can bring some real strong capability now into clients, and clients often have issues that are complex, and they don't quite appreciate how complex they are until you sit down and work through with them the details of what they're doing, what their products are, what their structure is, what their acquisition targets are, all of that sort of stuff. Things can come out, and we can assist clients to get better results out of that. And I think in a firm like this, there's lots of opportunities for that, given the closeness that you can get to the clients, understanding the business. That's the main thing. Yeah,
and it's very much one of the things that we pride ourselves on is, I guess, we are very focused on the human side of being advisors and really working very closely with our clients at that kind of personal level, but getting the very best results for them. So, really looking forward to you joining us, to coming on board, John, and that's only in a few short weeks' time. So I guess you've got until the end of June to. And then from July this year, we're back together again, which I'm really looking forward to.
And me too, Steve. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and looking forward to kicking off in July.
Yeah. Likewise. Okay. It'll be a lot of fun, and it will be great. And thank you everyone for joining us again. And hopefully you took something away from this conversation, and look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thanks.